Tonight, the pizza shop lie that shut down an entire state. An eastern suburbs mother disappears without a trace. Tonight we hear from her desperate family. Strong condemnation from the Prime Minister who sent Australian troops to Afghanistan. Donald Trump's lawyer fired up in a bizarre public meltdown. And no excuses. Coach Trent Barrett explains why he must succeed at the Bulldogs.
This is 9 News with Georgie Gardner.
Good evening. South Australia is set to emerge from its hard COVID shutdown 3 days early after bombshell revelations a man who tested positive lied to health authorities. The dramatic reversal came after virus detectives discovered the truth that the man had worked with an Adelaide super spreader.
1.7 million people in South Australia forced into the country's harshest lockdown, all because one man lied to COVID contact tracers.
To say that I am fuming about the actions of this individual is an absolute understatement.
Just 48 hours after declaring a 6-day shutdown of the state, the Premier hit the rewind button.
Effective immediately, exercise in family groups is now permitted.
Fallout from the bombshell sent police to guard this Adelaide pizza bar where the lie had been cooked up. The man had claimed he'd contracted the virus after simply buying a takeaway pizza at the restaurant, raising fears of a highly new infectious strain of COVID-19.
Their story didn't add up. We pursued them. We now know that they lied.
The person wasn't a customer, but a worker at the restaurant and a quarantine hotel, where he was a close contact of the super spreader behind this cluster.
Had this person been truthful to the contact tracing teams, we would not have gone into a 6-day lockdown.
South Australia's enemy number one remains anonymous, and there are no laws to punish him. New South Wales reported its 13th straight day of 0 cases of community transmission, while for school leavers, all roads and air routes led to Byron Bay.
Why did you guys decide Byron?
Gold Coast got cancelled, so next best thing.
For schoolies, the beachside town is the only option, and in a pandemic, social distancing will be a top priority for police.
And we want people to come up and have a good time, but be responsible.
With school leavers heading north, airlines are now preparing to reopen one of the busiest air routes in the world, with services between Sydney and Melbourne resuming on Monday. On the ground, the border will open from midnight Sunday. It's been closed for more than 4 months.
There's many people want to go and see family, there's many people want to travel, so no doubt we will have an increase in traffic.
Damien Ryan, 9 News.
1 week ago, Dover Heights mother Melissa Caddick went for an early morning run, but she never came home. Her disappearance is being treated as suspicious and follows an ASIC investigation into her business dealings.
After 7 days with no answers, Melissa Caddick's family is desperate.
You know how much we love you. You just come home, everything's taken care of, you're not in trouble.
Melissa, please let us know that you're safe and sound. We love you.
The 49-year-old was last seen at her Dover Heights home around midnight on Thursday, November 12. Her son heard the door slam at 5:30 in the morning, assuming his mother had left for a run. But she never returned. Her phone, purse and keys left behind. The house security system wasn't recording.
She always took her phone. In this case, it was the only time since I've known her that she did not have her phone with her.
3 days before Melissa went missing, federal police raided her $6 million home over an Australian Securities and Investments Commission probe, the corporate watchdog banning the businesswoman from leaving the country, selling assets or sending money offshore. Police have spent the past 7 days searching in all of Melissa's favourite spots, including the coastal walk here at Dover Heights. There is no CCTV and there have been no reported sightings. It would appear as though she has vanished without a trace.
We just don't know where Melissa is.
We don't know what's happened and we really, really want to find her.
With no leads to follow, Melissa's disappearance is being treated as suspicious. Anthony Coletti can't think of anyone who would want to hurt his wife.
We just want her back. That's all.
Tiffany Genders, 9 News.
5 people have been left shaken after a close call with a lightning strike at a resort in the Hunter Valley. Paramedics were called to Pecolbin this afternoon following reports a group of people had been struck. When they arrived, they found 2 teenagers and 3 adults stunned but not hurt. The bolt had narrowly missed them. A wild weather system is right now lashing suburbs in our west. Strong winds and heavy rain have been hitting St Mary's, uprooting a large tree. Hailstones have also been hammering down across Plumpton, Northmead, Erskine Park and St Clair. A severe weather warning is right now in place for much of the New South Wales coast, with damaging winds, hail and heavy rain expected. The Prime Minister, who sent Australians into battle in Afghanistan, has no regrets, but says Special Forces soldiers accused of war crimes should be condemned. John Howard's comments came as the Defence Chief admitted he considered disbanding the SAS.
Australia's new recruits marching as one, filled with pride for a uniform after one of Defence's darkest days.
It shocks the nation.
Elite soldiers accused of murdering 39 Afghans facing the prospect of jail time and honours being stripped. The alleged actions of a handful risking the reputation of many. A challenge for the chief, who admits he considered scrapping the SAS.
The path forward for developing that regiment is by committing to building and working with the people.
The allegations confronting for the Defence Minister.
It made me physically ill.
And from the Prime Minister, who sent Special Forces to Afghanistan.
I do not regret that decision. It was the right decision.
John Howard disgusted by allegations of war crimes.
Of course, to be utterly condemned. And I can understand the revulsion people feel. I feel it.
As the enormity of the accusation sets in, the New York Times screamed bloodlust and demigods as shockwaves rippled around the world.
Is a shameful record of a warrior culture.
Has now made a shocking admission.
Evidence of war crimes.
And to the heart of the horror. Local imams want swift compensation for victims' families. Others, like Kabul resident Abdul Mutahal, want justice served there. That won't happen. For 200 Defence Force personnel currently in the Middle East, the Defence Chief warns the allegations create a risk of reprisals from extremists.
This is, to a degree, fuel in their camp.
9 News understands that was taken into consideration before the report's release, and extra protections have been put in place. As Defence now seeks to protect a force's reputation and deal with the best of the best, being accused of the worst of crimes. Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.
China has lashed out at Australia once again. A government official warning we should be careful not to get, quote, our eyes poked out. It comes after Australia and our Five Eyes intelligence partners criticised China for its crackdown on democracy in Hong Kong. In breaking news, there are major traffic delays on the M5 tonight after a car fire at Narrowee, just past Belmore Road. Just one city-bound lane is currently open and drivers are being urged to use Canterbury Road instead. A recount of ballots in Georgia has confirmed Joe Biden won the state by more than 12,000 votes, but Donald Trump's lawyer still claims he has enough evidence to reverse the election result. While at the White House, there was also an equally optimistic assessment about the surging COVID pandemic.
Hosting the first coronavirus task force briefing since July, as the nation plunges deeper into a deadly second wave.
We approach this moment with the confidence of experience. We know the American people know what to do.
Pledging to distribute a vaccine within 24 hours of approval.
We need to actually double down on the public health measures as we're waiting for that help to come, which will be soon.
While the president-elect talked COVID management with the nation's governors, planning ahead despite remaining cut off from the normal transition process.
Incredibly damaging messages being sent to the rest of the world about how democracy functions.
As the Vice President carries on with business as usual, still no sign of President Trump. This is his 12th day avoiding the cameras he usually courts, instead deploying his legal team to allege a widespread conspiracy plot to oust him from power.
We cannot allow these crooks, because that's what they are, to steal an election from the American people.
Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, fired up and melting down.
When I went to bed on election night, he was ahead in all those states, every single one of those states. How is it they all turned around? Or is it more consistent that there was a plan to turn them around?
Also blaming Venezuelan ballot counting technology for switching votes, promising evidence in the coming weeks. And as a recount of votes in Georgia confirmed Joe Biden won that state, Donald Trump invited Republican lawmakers from Michigan to the White House tomorrow, an apparent attempt to interfere in the certification of votes.
President Trump won by a landslide. We are going to prove it.
Still so many questions, but from the White House today, no answers.
All of you need to answer this. Why is the federal government... What is going on? And you're not working with the transition. You're all part of not recognizing democracy. You're all undermining the democratic election.
In Washington, D.C., Amelia Adams, 9 News.
Australians could soon have their superannuation increase frozen as the federal government decides whether to scrap legislated rises. Labor says people will miss out on hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement, while government MPs claim it would impact wage increases.
Australians are living longer and needing more cash for retirement, yet the Morrison government is weighing up whether to scrap an increase to your superannuation.
Maintaining the superannuation guarantee rate at 9.5% would allow for higher living standards in working life.
That's what a significant report into our retirement says. By law, employers must put 9.5% of an employee's income into a super fund. It is supposed to go up to 10% on July 1 next year, before reaching 12% by 2025. Leaving it as is will leave the average 30-year-old couple working full-time with $200,000 less in retirement.
The Coalition committed to not change that. But once again, they're laying the groundwork for another backflip.
But business and the government backbench argues the money is better off in people's pockets now.
Australians spend 3 times as much on superannuation funds management as they do on electricity and energy bills every year.
Tony Abbott froze legislated increases in 2014, but the cash saved by employers over 4 years didn't trickle down to workers' pay packets.
This is a government that has never supported universal superannuation.
With Australia still in the COVID recession and much of the country reliant on JobKeeper, the federal government says it's in no rush to make a final decision on super.
We need to make decisions based on the economic facts at the time.
Chris O'Keefe, 9 News.
Nurses and midwives who walked off the job at Blacktown Hospital yesterday were today forced back to work. Unions say they were disappointed by the decision and are adamant the hospital isn't safe for patients or staff.
Marching off the job in solidarity. It was tools down for these nurses and midwives yesterday. The lawns of Blacktown Hospital packed with more than 100 of them taking a stand.
We're nurses and midwives under attack. What do we do?
It's better conditions and more staff they're begging for, claiming the hospital in its current state isn't safe.
There are not enough staff in not only the maternity unit but other areas, including the operating theatre, to make sure that everything works as it should.
The plan was to strike for 24 hours, but after lengthy deliberations between the union and the local health district last night, the Industrial Relations Commission stepped in, ordering staff return to work immediately. Intervention welcomed by the Western Health District, who today issued a statement saying it is working with nurses and midwives to address concerns and achieve the highest quality service. All of this comes a week after 20 senior obstetricians threatened to stop working at Blacktown Hospital over internal management issues. There have been 4 newborn deaths in the hospital in the past 18 months.
It's now time that the Premier and the Minister made sure that the staffing resources are put into Blacktown that are needed to operate that shiny new hospital.
Grace Fitzgibbon, 9 News.
The daughter of NRL great Mark Geyer is asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages after she was falsely linked to an NRL sex scandal. A jury ruled Montana Geyer was defamed when 2 memes were posted online naming her as the woman in the Tyrone May sex tape. A decision on damages will be handed down in a fortnight. The controversial koala protection laws, which took the state government to the brink of divorce, have now been killed off, but not by the Nationals. After Gladys Berejiklian stared down a revolt by her coalition partners, it was one of the Premier's Liberals who crossed the floor.
A rogue Liberal sacked but not angry with the Premier.
She's absolutely entitled to take the action she had.
Catherine Cusack dumped as Parliamentary Secretary last night immediately after she voted with Labor and the Greens to throw out the government's koala protection bill, believing the deal done by her colleagues to pacify the Nationals left the animal exposed.
The damage inflicted by the bill is not what you want or intended, but the flawed processes means that is what is being delivered. My faith in those processes has been shattered.
The irony being her defection handed the Nationals victory.
I'm one of the luckiest guys around because by crossing the floor, I think she doesn't realise the detriment to the policy.
The policy is gone, and after finally reaching peace in a year-long war, the Liberals and Nationals are back to square one. Parliament was supposed to have risen for the year last night, but the upper house is still sitting and MPs will be hauled back here next week. The government's budget bill and its key energy reform package still haven't passed. One Nation's Mark Latham moving about 250 amendments to the electricity bill to try to delay its inevitable passing.
This is because the government has lost control of its parliamentary agenda.
Liz Daniels, 9 News.
Drivers passing through Terry Hills this afternoon experienced smoky conditions as a hazard reduction burn was carried out near Mona Vale Road. 18 hectares of bushland burned, sending huge plumes of smoke drifting over the city. The haze is expected to clear as wind conditions change. Well, Belinda joins me now for a look at today's weather, and it was hot and stormy this afternoon, Belinda.
Yes, a few storms sparking up on the radar this afternoon, Georgie, rolling in from the southwest. About 15,000 lightning strikes recorded so far, over 400 of those hitting the ground. But not a lot of rain falling in the gauges, only 0.6 of a millimetre recorded in Horsley Park and at Sydney Olympic Park. A severe thunderstorm warning for Sydney, stretching up to the northern tablelands and down to the south coast. Heavy rainfall, damaging winds and large hail possible in that warning area over the next several hours. Places like Sydney, Newcastle, Gosford and Batemans Bay possibly in the firing line. It is going to get windy later tonight. A gusty southerly due to sweep in between around 8 and 9 p.m. 30 to 45 km/h winds with gusts over 70 possible along the coast. It follows a hot day. Temperatures in our west up to 13 degrees above the November average, but a cooler day tomorrow. The weekend forecast coming up later, Georgie.
See you soon, Belinda. Thank you. In the news ahead, fixed prices for new cars. Tonight, the push to end haggling at the dealership. But will it mean a better deal? The collapse of construction giant Grocon, and tonight the company is pointing the finger at Barangaroo. This driver senses something's up, and he's right. His narrow escape is coming up.
This is television. Good evening and welcome to television.
And decades of memories. But tonight, the lights go out at TCN as Channel 9 moves to its new home.
betraying our Olivia, the cruel con using the Aussie superstar's name.
Saying that they've actually done an interview with her.
To dupe desperate families.
They're preying on vulnerable people.
How to protect yourself from scammers.
If it seems too good to be true, then it probably is.
A current affair next.
Sunday. It's auction day.
Australia, this is it.
On television's biggest night of the year.
It's over to you, guys. I'm in your hands.
5 incredible family homes go under the hammer.
Sold.
Who
Yes!
will
Third and final call.
win TV's biggest prize?
What just happened?
The Block Grand Finale auction. Sunday, 7 o'clock on 9.
Thought you were just getting the cherries.
Find all your Christmas specials like Australian boned and rolled pork loin roast, $13 per kilo, and Frantel spring water, 24 by 600ml, $8.40. Now at your local IGA.
Bring on the gifts they deserve more than ever, with hundreds of new toys from brands like Lego, Barbie and Paw Patrol. Big W, every day's a big day.
Whoa, a tablet!
How'd you manage that?
Third drawdown boosted the budget.
This year, trading in selected phones for bill credit can help make gifting more affordable.
As an Aussie business ourselves, we're there for local businesses big and small, supporting them for whatever the future brings. The energy within. AGL. Progress for life.
Bring on the biggest and brightest smiles this Christmas with 20% off Mirabella Christmas lights. Big W, every day's a big day.
It's Black November at Nick Scali. We must clear our floor stock and discontinued lines. Lounges reduced, dining tables reduced, dining chairs reduced, and much more. Limited stock, limited time. Black November at all Nick Scali stores. Hurry.
Your video ad made by top freelancers on Fiverr is destroying the internet. They wrote the script, created animation to engage your audience, recorded voiceover, edited it, and adapted it to different platforms. That's crazy. Fiverr, freelance services on demand.
Bring on the surprises they'll never see coming by sending your purchases straight to your loved ones with a gift message when you shop online. Big W, every day's a big day.
After all that we've been through, I will make it up to you. I promise to.
Gippsland Dairy Yogurt. The taste made me do it.
The days of spending hours haggling over a new car could be over, with proposals for fixed prices set by manufacturers. But the dealerships oppose the plan and have paid big money to see it fail.
Spending big money, searching big car lots, negotiating under big pressure. Buying a new car is one of the biggest decisions an Australian household will make. Tonight, the potential for a big change. Under the proposal, car manufacturers would set the price of a new car, eliminating negotiation and haggling at the dealership level and providing consistent prices right across the country.
That capacity to negotiate with someone who negotiates day in, day out in their lives, being the dealer, is a bit of a fear factor for some consumers. This takes away the negotiation price.
Dealerships, who are strongly against the idea, would earn a set commission per sale.
The good news is if you're bad at negotiating prices, this could work out better for you. The bad news is if you're good at negotiation, you may end up paying more.
Well, our belief is that we always let the market sort of take care of these things, but if there's any policy proposal that the industry wants to put to government, well, we'll certainly look at it.
The scheme goes to a Senate committee next week where Labor will oppose, citing an imbalance in power between manufacturer and dealerships.
People need to be able to get their cars serviced, to buy in the area and actually have jobs in their local area.
But 9 News has collated the records of $4.79 million worth of donations from car dealerships to the Labor Party and affiliated unions. Among the recipients, the Shop, Distributive and Allied Employees Association union, known as the Shoppies, who back Senator Deb O'Neill.
A fixed price would simplify the system as well as cutting down on the weeks or even months spent searching for a new car.
The concern is this won't necessarily lead to a reduction in prices.
Meaning the bottom line may come down to the bottom line. Charles Croucher, 9 News.
Building giant Grocon is set to go into administration and is blaming Infrastructure New South Wales' handling of its Central Barangaroo project. The 73-year-old firm is suing the state government, claiming it lost $270 million. Grocon says its Ribbon development in Sydney and Northumberland development in Melbourne will not be included in the administration entities. The driver charged over the deaths last year of 39 migrants found in the back of his truck in the UK has told his trial he didn't know they were there. Eamon Harrison says he had agreed to deal with stolen goods, but had been watching Netflix as his truck was loaded. Cleaning ice off his windscreen would have been the last thing this Russian man did had he not looked up with a second to spare. He managed to leap to safety as an enormous concrete slab plunged straight into his car from a nearby apartment block. It's unclear what caused the large block to fall. Erin is here now with a look at sport, and Trent Barrett reveals his family history with the Bulldogs. Erin.
Georgie, good evening. Look, he's got a close connection with the club and almost wore the blue and white as a player. Coming up, incoming Bulldogs coach Barrett also reveals why he has no excuses if he can't make his second stint in an NRL top job work. Also tonight, back to where it all began. We hear from Kieran Foran on his return to the Sea Eagles. And after a lean IPL, can Glenn Maxwell put on a show against India? We'll have all the predictions and plenty more in sport very shortly.
See you then. Thanks, Erin. Still to come in 9 News, get ready, Sydney, for the return of stage shows, from musicals to comedy, the plan to come out of our COVID coma. The vaccine that sparks a strong immune response in those aged over 70, but has Australia signed up for it? Time to tee off. Sydney's ANZ Stadium to be transformed into a 9-hole golf course. And we brought you the story of the missing wallet that showed up after 26 years. Now we have tracked down the owner. That's coming up.
The Aussie women
Police officers were coming on the plane. They had guns.
snatched from a flight home,
All females need to disembark.
stripped and violated.
And she goes, we need to remove your underwear. I don't... Why? Like, why?
A nightmare. Much, much worse
It's a total violation of your body.
than anyone thought.
I was worried if I said no, what's going to happen to me in this country?
On 60 Minutes.
Sometimes, even the best tenants can cause damage to your investment property that standard building insurance may not cover. Terry Shear, Australia's leading landlord insurance specialist, provides the cover you need for your property and rental income. Have confidence that your investment property is in safe hands.
My property portfolio is protected by Terry Shear. I wouldn't trust anyone else.
Call Terry Shear or go online.
Flavor you can touch. Flavor is a must. Flavor just for me. Flavor you can see. Shapes.
New Shapes Chicken Palmy.
Nothing fake. Nothing artificial. Nothing but real high-quality meat from Australian farms. Show you care. Feed responsibly. Black Hawk. Every ingredient matters.
Make a date with Kembla Grange for the Gong this Saturday. For New South Wales TAB customers, it's your chance to win a share of the $250,000 projected first four pool. TAB, long may we play.
Gamble responsibly.
Superannuation may seem like a faraway thing, but a little change today can help grow your balance for the future. As a fund run only to benefit members, Hester can keep fees down so more money stays in your account. Hester, time to invest in yourself.
It's Black November at Nick Scali. We must clear our floor stock and discontinued lines. Up to 30, 40 and 50% off. Our floor stock must go. Limited stock, limited time. Black November at all Nick Scali stores. Hurry.
Australia's first Lifebuoy hand sanitizer spray. Kills 99.9% of germs you pick up on the go. Just spray and be safe.
Why don't you come? Why don't you come? For the pleasures all mine, never getting old. If you're looking for me, I'll be dancing in my own way.
children living with arthritis, their painful daily battles. Now the campaign for more specialist doctors. A current affair next.
Jack de Belin was brought to tears at his rape trial today as his sister gave evidence describing him as her best friend. The defence also called on former Dragons boss Brian Johnston, who told the court the footballer is a courteous role model. De Belin and Callan Sinclair have pleaded not guilty to the sexual assault of a 19-year-old woman in 2018. Scientists developing the Oxford University coronavirus vaccine say it produces a strong immune response in those aged over 70. The vaccine is one of 2 set for production in Australia, with 30 million doses expected to be made here from early next year. As they say, the show must go on, and tonight we have the blueprint on how to do it during the COVID pandemic. Concerts, plays and musicals will be back soon, with the arts and entertainment sectors receiving a much-needed boost.
Specialised seamstresses crafting costumes you'll see on stage in March when Hamilton the Musical lifts its curtain.
There has been great uncertainty in every jurisdiction about the confidence of when audiences will return.
While the pandemic prompted a shutdown of live performance venues, today a roadmap to recovery, agreed to by National Cabinet, so artists, actors, comedians and musicians can again take centre stage. And there's cash to complement it.
That will be allocating $60 million in funding across 115 projects.
The arts community hit hard and hit early by COVID-19.
We have hundreds of employees who are unable to go to work since March because of the shutdown and the restrictions.
The new grants between $50,000 and $2 million will be spread across Australia.
It's incredibly important that this money gets out there to help our sector get back on its feet.
In its first year, Harry Potter the musical generated $244 million for the Victorian economy. As we claw our way out of this COVID crisis, it's hoped Hamilton, being the world's most successful musical, will generate the same revenue for New South Wales.
We want to put this money to work and get shows going.
Ellie Walsh, 9 News.
From the Olympics to State of Origin and the Bledisloe Cup, ANZ Stadium has hosted almost every sport you can think of. But for the first time, it's been transformed into a golf course, and anyone can play.
Forget the goals, how about playing a few holes? With footy finished for the year, ANZ Stadium will be home to a 9-hole course.
Whether you're a pro golfer or an amateur like me, a weekend hack like me, you can come down and enjoy the stadium in a very different way.
Eel star Mitchell Moses normally plays a different game at this ground.
How does it compare to playing rugby league here?
Yeah, it's a bit different. You're obviously hitting from the stands, I guess. You're used to being out in the field and getting amongst it.
While league legend Benny Elias says his golf game's a little under par.
Yeah, no, not real good, you know. I'd like to improve it a lot more and play a lot more golf, but this is a good way of sharpening your game up.
This is how it'll work. There'll be 9 different places to tee off in the stands, with corresponding holes on the turf.
With golf balls flying onto the ground from all directions, no one will be allowed onto the grass to putt. So how will this game be scored?
Well, of course, you can get a hole in one. Failing that, if the ball lands in the blue circle, it's a birdie. Par in the red, while the green is a bogey. Grounds manager Steve Bailey has had to make a few minor adjustments to the hallowed turf.
Yeah, we just kind of come up with a design for the green and then cut her a bit shorter, and that's pretty much it so far.
You can tee off over 10 days from December 4. Natalia Cooper, 9 News.
Painter Paul Davis has today thanked the man who found the wallet he lost in 1994. It was a reunion 26 years in the making after he left it at a Lennox Head beach while celebrating on New Year's Eve. Good Samaritan Joe tracked him down on Facebook and got a 6-pack of beer for his efforts.
It's unbelievable. It's gone viral.
I got a delicious Stonewood 6-pack, so I'm stoked.
A $5 note, a Medicare card and a Visa debit card were still inside. Paul says he'll get it framed and put it in his bar. As you would. Ahead in 9 News, Donald Trump supporters making plenty of noise in the city. Plus, as one door closes, another opens. Tonight, Channel 9 says farewell to the home of television. And the maker of drumsticks, billabongs and frosty fruits taken to court accused of dodgy deals. Plus, Erin's back with sport and Trent Barrett won't need to bring his own furniture to Belmore.
Georgie, I'll explain. He famously complained about the facilities at Manly but has nothing but praise for the facilities at the Bulldogs. But that brings its own pressures. Coming up, how Barrett plans to transform the Dogs into a powerhouse. And he was labelled a cheerleader in the IPL. Can Glenn Maxwell take centre stage against India?
And a gusty southerly change sweeping into Sydney later tonight, bringing a cooler day tomorrow, but then another scorcher coming our way on Sunday.
Betraying our Olivia, the cruel con using the Aussie superstar's name to dupe desperate families. A current affair next.
The fixer-upper to top them all. From crumbling disaster to chateau extraordinaire. Escape to the chateau, tonight 7:30 on 9.
Summer in Australia. Heat and sweat aggravate dandruff and itch. I recommend Head & Shoulders. More effective than our regular shampoo, Head & Shoulders provides up to 100% dandruff protection. I recommend Head & Shoulders.
Tired of running out of sparkling water? Then get this counterbalance forklift. It can carry loads of bottles so you never run out. There must be a fresher way. Get a SodaStream and make fresh sparkling water at home whenever you want. SodaStream.
So, love, there's only that robot costume left. Oh, this one.
Make the choice easy with Toyota. Get the improved Prado, now with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, plus more power. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Here's to Nescafe Farmers Origins. Make choices taste better with our new Africa's Ristretto. Approved for Nespresso machines.
Save up to 15% on your first year's premium when you get a new Allianz Comprehensive Car Insurance policy online. And join thousands of satisfied Allianz customers. Search for your quote today.
Hello. Ooh, carrots.
We grow them for Woolies.
Oh.
Oh, would the guys like some?
No.
It's Christmas.
If you insist. And one more for you. Oh. Let's go. Hey, up. Be good. Sharing the spirit of Christmas. Woolworths.
Money Magazine congratulates La Trobe Financial on being awarded Non-Bank Lender of the Year. La Trobe Financial led the category in product range, innovation and loan quality. We recognise their help in ways traditional lenders don't, and that's worth reading about. Search La Trobe Financial.
A garden is more than just a garden. This isn't a flower garden, it's a meadow. And this is no backyard, it's a homestead. Willoughby, for all gardens, great and small. 1+ pole hedge, trimmer and pruner kits, $2.49 each, available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? I've known a secret for a week or two. Nobody knows, just we two.
Give chocolate secretly to someone you love.
Australia, this is it.
The Block Grand Finale Auction.
Gold, who will claim top of the block?
Sunday on 9.
This sports report brought to you by Sportsbet. Combine multiple runners in the one race for bigger odds. Same race multi with Sportsbet.
Trent Barrett famously had to bring his own furniture when coaching Manly. Now he's got all the tools for success at the cashed-up Bulldogs. The coach knows that means no excuses as he tries to turn around a club he's had a secret connection with for a long time.
Trent Barrett in the trenches with his new troops.
delivering a blunt message about how the Dogs can dig themselves out of turmoil.
There's no way around it. You just got to work hard, and we won't be going into the season underdone. And I've got really good staff here to ensure that.
Barrett struggled to bring the magic back to Manly. The coach believes he was hampered by the club's archaic facilities and lack of resources. The Bulldogs don't have those issues.
We've got the dojo here and the gym and all our offices and a really good field, so everything we need's here. There's certainly no excuses from a coaching point of view or a playing point of view.
Now it's about filling those facilities with the right personnel. The Dogs have 3 spots left on their roster for 2021 and have been linked to a number of stars, including Matt Burton and Josh Mansour.
We have got our sights on a few players that we're trying to bring in. Hopefully we'll get some a bit of an idea of a yes or a no in the coming weeks.
Barrett actually has a long connection with the family club. His brother Scott played his sole first grade game at the Dogs, while Trent almost wore the blue and white at different stages in his career.
I nearly came here as a player at the back end of '98 when the Dragons and the Steelers merged. I was pretty close to coming here but decided to stay at Wollongong. And then again, towards the back end of my career, I nearly jumped over, but finally got here.
There'll be no Kieran Foran at Belmore this season. He's back on the northern beaches, pulling on the Manly maroon and white for the first time since 2015.
I feel like a completely different man, a completely different footballer, and I'm hopeful that I can, come back and play some really good footy while I'm here.
Jake Duke, 9 News.
David Fifita was on top of the world today as he was unveiled in Titans colours for the first time. The $3 million star revealing why he chose to leave Brisbane for the Gold Coast and turned down a number of other clubs.
I had an opportunity to go to Sydney, but I didn't want to go to Sydney, so I think this is only an hour away from my house, my home in Brizzy. I've seen how well they did in the back end of the season and the boys that are coming on board too, so I think we can really do something special here.
And the famous John's name is returning to the Knights. Matthew's son, Jack, has signed a 2-year deal at Newcastle after making his NRL debut for the Rabbitohs this season. India, beware. Glenn Maxwell is ready to explode in next week's opening one-dayer. The all-rounder had a poor Indian Premier League and feels he's due for a big score.
In 13 IPL matches, Glenn Maxwell averaged 15 and failed to hit a 6. Critics declared him a cheerleader on a highly paid vacation.
What I went through last year, I think I'm better equipped at sort of dealing with those sorts of things now.
What Maxwell went through was a break from cricket to deal with mental health issues. The time away from the game prepared him for what was to come during the global sports shutdown and the COVID bubbles that have followed.
In hindsight, it was a pretty good time to probably go through something like that, where I was able to sort of put some groundwork in to deal with adversity, and this year's certainly been a massive test of it.
Maxwell is halfway through his hotel quarantine at Homebush, where he and other players are allowed out for 3 hours training a day. He's taken a different approach to recapturing his best with the bat.
It's a bit of running, bit of fielding, and a little bit of bowling, but yeah, I haven't really picked up a bat for a while. 5
of the 6 white ball matches at the SCG and Manica Oval have already sold out. Maxwell says the battle with India won't be any less heated despite half-empty stadiums.
It's fiery, it's entertaining, and I don't see it being any different.
Luke Duffy, 9 News.
The Wallabies can take a step towards collecting some elusive silverware if they can overcome Argentina in Saturday night's Rugby Championship test in Newcastle.
We make no bones. We want to put some silverware in our closet again, and to do that we need to build solid performances.
Both teams are coming off surprise wins over the All Blacks, and Georgie, it's not often you get to say 2 teams playing have just beaten the All Blacks, both of them. So it should be a great match.
It should indeed. Thanks for that, Erin. Well, tonight is the last time we're bringing you the news from our studio here in Willoughby. This building has produced more than 60 years of television, and ahead we have a special tribute as we say goodbye to TCN. Also, another of the big banks slashes its savings rates. And ice cream giant Peters at the centre of a new court battle.
children living with arthritis, their painful daily battles. Now the campaign for more specialist doctors. A current affair next.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's on the play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
To the messy ones, to all the mess makers and mess masters, we say bless this mess. Let the LG Cord Zero take care of it, wherever it ends up. Our compressor technology means that however you mess it, simply compress it. Enjoy long run time, easy storage, and powerful suction. LG Cord Zero with compressor technology.
I'm gonna get you, you beautiful, shiny... Oh, you've gone. Come here and reveal yourself, my most precious... Oh, you've gone. Any second now, I'll have you in my...
Whiskers, feed their curiosity.
Everyone knows Volkswagen drivers expect a little more.
Volkswagen.
$1 upsize deal on Australian-made mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman. Purchase a selected Australian-made queen-size mattress or ensemble from King Coil, Sealy Posturepedic, Sleepmaker, Beauty Rest or Body Balance, and for $1 more, upgrade to a king size. Plus, buy on 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card valued at up to $500. Harvey Norman, supporting Australian-made and local manufacturing with $1 upsize deal on selected Australian-made mattresses and ensembles. Limited time only at Harvey Norman.
If you're worried about your actions or relationship, contact Men's Line for free confidential advice and counselling, online and by phone 24/7. There's no place for abuse or domestic violence. Help is here. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Oh. Shut up and take my money.
This is the Dyson Corral Straightener with manganese copper alloy plates that flex, shape and gather for enhanced styling with less damage. Dyson Corral.
Engage.
9 Gems Star Trek Fridays.
Scotty, beam me up.
Starts tonight with Star Trek The Motion Picture.
Small in numbers, but big in enthusiasm. This group of pro-Trump supporters staged a mini rally this morning in Martin Place. They claim President Trump lost the US election because of voter fraud in a conspiracy organised by the Chinese Communist Party. As we head into summer, the ice cream giant Peters has run into trouble with the consumer watchdog for allegedly trying to dominate the market. The ACCC says Peters tried to stop a distribution company from selling rival ice creams to petrol stations and convenience stores. The NAB has dropped its savings rates on a range of accounts, the 30th bank to do so since this month's cash rate cut by the Reserve Bank. A customer with $50,000 in an NAB Reward Saver account is now earning just $23 a month. Westpac is the only one of the big four banks yet to cut its rates for savings. And it's a bittersweet night for us all here as Channel 9 bids farewell to the home of television. After more than 60 years, we're moving to new studios, but leave behind a place that's created some of the most memorable moments in Australia's broadcast history.
It was a dairy bordering a quarry, but the hill on which it sat made it the perfect spot to put up a television station.
This might look like the Eiffel Tower, but it's not. It's Sydney's first television tower for station TCN Channel 9.
And on the 16th of September 1956, it was time to use the industry shorthand to fire up the stick.
Station TCN presents This is Television. Good evening and welcome to television.
For 64 years since, from this rise in Willoughby, deliberately selected to straddle the city's rolling topography, Sydney has been informed and entertained by TCN Channel 9. And its longest-serving employee is now Director of Program Standards, Richard Lyle.
When I started in 1968, the doorway started there. There was no grand foyer. There was no fabulous travertine marble on the floor.
A dogleg turn from reception, the old Studio One, where the Today Show...
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Liebman, and thank you for joining us.
And where A Current Affair would begin.
Welcome to A Current Affair.
And in 1971, it started, and God bless him, they never looked back.
And down through the always busy promenade that was the Props Bay, the heart of TCN, then called Studio 2.
And the legends that have come through these doors. Anybody that was in town doing any kind of show, I think, would come here and do a number.
The first big show from here?
Brian Henderson and Bandstand, 1958.
What do you think teenagers require from television, Brian? Entertainment.
Those early days of telly had no template, so it was worked out on the run.
Well, hello, viewers. How are you? All right? You enjoying the show? Look at that light on my face here. Is that all right?
What do you reckon lighting-wise?
I haven't got the faintest idea.
Yeah.
We got it together by the 70s for the dawn of daylight telly.
Suddenly daytime television became the biggest thing ever, and the people would be queued up around the block, and this whole back area would be filled with maybe, 300 people, all in tears coming down.
As Mike, Ray and Kerry-Ann held court during the day, Hendo was reading the news in the Eve, supplied live from the field with a new-fangled action cam. And when the era of daylight dimmed, Fatty and Sterlo took control for the footy show. The suite of TCN's programming would be produced from along here, the row of cottages in neighbouring Scott Street.
They really were suburban houses.
But now, the end is near. The cyclone fencing's up, the wrecking ball is here, the corridors are empty, the loading bay to clear. Soon all that will be left will be the memories.
What an extraordinary run it's had. It's been one of the great entertainment centres of the world, and it's a commercial television station called TCN 9.
Mike Dalton, 9 News.
Truly is the end of an era. Coming up, finance, Sydney petrol prices, and Belinda with the weekend weather.
Thanks, Georgie. Sydney still under a storm warning tonight. Penrith getting a good downpour in the past hour, recording 4 millimetres. It is still warm, though, sitting at 27 and 24 in the city. A cool change coming in about an hour or two. The all-important weekend forecast is coming up next.
Betraying our Olivia, the cruel con using the Aussie superstar's name to dupe desperate families. A Current Affair next.
Smart business owners know a good price is just the start, which is why Ford always works hard to deliver the whole package with a $1,000 deposit contribution when you take My Ford Finance, reducing your loan by $1,000 right at the get-go. So now you can get the work vehicle you really want for a great deal. And don't forget the government's instant asset write-off for eligible businesses. See your Ford dealer today.
was fun. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Take control with the Remington Quick Room Body and Back Roomer. The dual-sided blade provides ultra-close trimming for a smooth look. Easily reach back hair and use wet or dry. Remington's Quick Room Body and Back Roomer. Available only at Shaver Shop.
An award-winning super fund could be your ticket to a winning future. As one of Australia's most consistent performers, Hester has achieved platinum status 15 years in a row. With Hester, your future's looking good as gold. Hester, time to invest in yourself.
3 out of 4 women recommended Dove antiperspirant, like Jessica.
Is it moisturising? Tick. They're feeling super soft. I've been fresh all day long, even after the gym.
Would you switch?
I am making the switch to Dove.
Can a plant-based diet give you the nutrients you need to perform at your best? Absolutely. Want to power your performance? The answer is INC Plant Protein.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies save big on Christmas gifts, like LeBron's Games, Delta's Wood Drum, Salva's Kayak and Jude's Saw. For thousands of Christmas bargains, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
The neighbours that saw. The paramedic who helped. The doctor who tried. The nurse who consoled. The coroner who examined the body. The wife who cried. The son who lost a dad. The speed camera that helped prevent it all. Slow down.
Dinner, a constant struggle, wasting time buying food you don't need, stuck in a rut of the same recipes. With HelloFresh, dinner is better. Easy recipes and delicious meals that everyone enjoys. Order your first box today at hellofresh.com.au. Inspiration delivered.
Next week on Today, some huge names in showbiz and sport will join us. The Bee Gees, Barry Gibb. Wow. We have exclusives with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, as well as Glenn Close and Amy Adams.
Wow, plus Nigella Lawson shares some easy-peasy recipes for Christmas, and cricket legend Shane Warner's here as well. Warnie! See you next week.
Anybody holding Commonwealth Bank stocks will be happy heading into the weekend. Its shares have had their best week since 2011, up 9.4% over the 5 days. The share market capped off a third positive week in a row, but was flat today, with CSL, the biggest company on our market, up 1.4%, but BHP going in the other direction. Elsewhere, Oil Search was the worst on the ASX 200 today, while Mesoblast jumped 11% after selling a new medicine for $50 million. The Australian dollar is still mixed against other major currencies, buying just below 73 US cents and 61.4 euro cents.
And a quick check of petrol. The average price for unleaded is $1.22 a litre. Here's Belinda.
Thanks, Georgie. Sydney finishing off the week as it started. A hot and sunny day, especially in our west. But before we get on to how hot it got, let's just take a moment to appreciate this gorgeous sunrise taken at Bondi Beach this morning before the crowds arrived. It certainly was beach weather today. Temperatures up to 13 degrees above the November average in our west, but cooling down closer to the coast thanks to the easterlies. The city stopping at 28. Some storms sparking up across western and northwestern Sydney this afternoon. A gusty southerly change arriving in about an hour or two. Bringing a cooler day to Sydney tomorrow, but still really warm across inland parts of our state. A trough drawing heat into New South Wales and a dry day for most thanks to a high. Canberra also feeling the heat tomorrow, rising to 27, 29 and sunny for Brisbane. Adelaide soaring to 37. That is even hotter than Darwin. And parts of New South Wales also set to swelter. Daytime temperatures slightly above average in the east, but much hotter than usual in our west. Burke, Broken Hill and Griffith all expected to reach the 40s. Lots of sunshine though to kick off the weekend. Just the chance of a shower or thunderstorm about the ranges, possibly extending to the central west and northern inland. Sydney also getting a good dose of vitamin D tomorrow and a much cooler day thanks to some moderate southerlies, becoming lighter later in the afternoon. Our west about 10 degrees colder than today, but still warm, reaching 30 degrees in Penrith. The city heading for a top of 24, which is right on average for this time of year. But the mercury soaring again on Sunday, hitting 29 degrees in the city with a possible late shower. A few showers on Monday too, and staying warm before a cool change on Tuesday, back up to the high 20s by the end of the week. And our west in for another scorcher on Sunday, hitting 37 with a late shower or two, or perhaps a storm. The rain clouds hanging around for a few days before temperatures hit the mid-30s again by the end of the week. Sydney getting an early taste of summer this weekend, but there are still 11 days until summer is officially here, Georgie.
Thank you for that, Belinda. And that is 9 News for this Friday. Tracy's up next with a current affair. I'm Georgie Gardner. As always, we thank you, our viewers, for being with us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.